Whatever you thought your problem was when you walked in here, it is no longer that. They say the meaning, or in the dictionary, it says joy is a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. However, there was lots of references to joy being the experience of God and being very moral. We are going to debunk that today. Defunk that thing. We're going to do that. So I asked on my Facebook page, I said, what brings you joy? And these were the answers that I got from many people. Family and friends, being able to serve, remembering who I am, my grandkids, knowing and trusting God's self and knowing how truly loved we all are. For me, it was the day my son and my daughter-in-law got married. I can't even quite explain why that day, from the moment my eyes opened, it was just joy. It was pure, unadulterated joy the entire day. And of course, my grandbaby. If you want to see it closer, just come up later and I'll show you. Our grandbaby. So, witnessing true happiness. And it's interesting, somebody made a note. Maybe I had a hand in it. I don't know what they meant. But I thought, that's hopeful and sweet, and if that's true. And that was from actually my very, 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 very first boyfriend. When I was a kid, I never even kissed him. I was too young. Like, it was that kind of thing, you want to go out with me? Sure. And then you didn't do anything? That kind of weird thing. That young, like 12 or something. Watching the sunrise, music, being with my family, my husband, son, and especially my 3 beautiful grandsons, they bring me the most joy. Seeing my daughter succeed as a loving, caring person, all those hours as her Sunday school teacher paid off, she said. I find joy when I see the smile on a baby's face, the whisper of an evening breeze, and the sound of a river after a winter thaw. I find joy when I see an acorn the squirrels didn't find breaking ground. I find joy when I taste ice cream on a hot day. Music, especially on vinyl, someone said. It's coming back. Talking about ideas with smart, fun, chill people. And again, my family, friends, and my sweetheart. Not one single person said, I get joy out of more money. Not one. No one said, I have joy because I have sex all the time. We'll talk about that more. No one said, because I party all night long like when I was a teenager. It all had to do with experiencing love and experiencing others and being in service and giving. But what I know about joy, as I said earlier, is that joy is one of those things that it has a higher vibration. And vibration, as soon as I say that word, I think some people shut off their ears, like, oh, that's like New Agey. But it's not. It's scientific. It's downright scientific. When you begin to talk about energy and you talk about vibration, it's measurable. You and your responses to things are measurable. They can measure your brain. They can measure the hormones in your body when you're happy. They have proven that a good, solid, loving hug bursts forth oxytocin into your body. It's the happy hormone. Hugging is no longer just something polite. It's something to do because we want to give and receive. Every time you hug somebody, to do it with all your heart. Even the men, and we have a lot of that around here. We have men that really hug. Remember the old days? So these parts of the body wouldn't touch. But we have men around here that hug, and I love that. But every time you do it, realize that you are sharing joy. And every time you're sharing joy, you're increasing the vibration that heals. When you raise your vibration enough, you do increase your immune system, and you become unavailable to that which is already there. We don't argue that we know there are germs in the world. And I say we, I mean people in this teaching, metaphysical teaching, especially studying of the science of mind. We just are unwilling to be available to it. See, that's the difference. We're not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying there's not diseases. I'm not saying there are not, all those things exist. I'm unwilling to be available. How about you? Right? And then there are times that it catches us. There's no judgment here. There's no judgment. So if something has caught you, if something has happened, okay, so then we deal with it. You either deal with creating it the way you want, or you respond lovingly afterwards with great compassion. We don't judge ourselves because, suddenly we have something we thought we didn't believe in. It happens. The Buddha says we are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. We know this. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. What a beautiful idea. We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. When my son, Seth, number 3 son, when he graduated with honors from high school, I was happy. But when he holds hands with me in the car, that's joy. When we have a great Sunday collection around here, I'm happy. But when I see you transform your life, that's joy. Most of your joy will come out of witnessing growth and peace and beauty. But in order to experience that, you have to know that you're looking for it, and you're looking with your looking. See, everything that we experience and everything that we create is through our looking. It's through our eyes. So we all know the statement, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. But all of life is in the eyes of the beholder. Because that which I believe in, I manage to, mostly subconsciously at some point, seek out. I seek to be with people that when they look back at me, I know that we're connected in spirit. I had the most incredibly wonderful conversation last night with my middle son. And about a year ago, he was told that he has type 2 diabetes. So, of course, we've been type 1 diabetes. So we've been working with that, and yet I need, like in the horror movies, you got to invite the vampire into the house, otherwise he can't enter. Well, prayer practitioners are kind of the same thing. You have to invite us into your space. It is unethical for me to pray for you, even, to do spiritual mind treatment for you, even if I think that you want a healing. You must invite in, because then we're connected. Then we're in partnership. So there's nothing that prayer practitioners like to do more of than to know your truth. But please know, don't assume. You must invite us in. Same as the vampire. Okay? Think vampire, prayer. Vampire. And so suddenly I got that invitation. What a glorious conversation it was last night. To finally have that real conversation with my son, to tell him what I believed was possible. And he was in the conversation with me. So we began our process last night, and we're going to continue it. That was joy. Knowing what I know is cool. Being able to share it with my son is joy. We're not... You and I and I say this all the time, but I always feel like I have to then repeat it. You're not done until someone who lives next to you or in your job says, "What are you doing?" Someone might say, "What do you know?" I want to know what you know. I want to have what you have. I want to be able to find that little piece. How is it that you didn't take such and such personally? How is it you didn't react? Why aren't you mad as hell because of such and such? You understand? When someone finally reaches out and says, "I want a little piece of what you have," then you are being it. And every single time we do that, it multiplies. There are a lot of people around here in this room right now that have taken years of classes. The science of mind teaching doesn't believe in hell and damnation as a current time experience. We believe as hell is a state of consciousness, and damnation is what happens when we don't believe in ourselves or love in ourselves. We just feel damned within ourselves. Right? So what happens is we teach tools. Now, once you get the tools, you're fully capable of never coming back here again. So for every single person that has ever taken classes, and you keep coming back, it's for those of you who are in the room for the first time. And I learned the beauty of that from a lot of my my friends in recovery. So my friends in recovery, some of them are in recovery 20, 30, 40 years. And they keep going to the meetings. I'm like, oh my God, why do you keep going? To give back. To give back. To give back. That's why they go back. Those of you who are in the room, who have been in the room, I know you're here to give back. And those of you who haven't been here that long, if you're new, or you're either here today for the first time, or you're just new months, look at the people who've been around longer. They're here for you. Because we don't sell anything that you have to go do to save yourself. Ever. Your salvation is in your own hands. And joy is one of the quickest pathways to that salvation. Helen Keller. Okay. Helen Keller says, "Your success and happiness lies in you. Resolve to be happy, and your joy and you in your joy, and you shall form an invincible host against difficulties." Okay, Helen Keller said that. Can any of us complain about anything? Helen Keller says, joy and success and happiness lies in you. Resolve to be happy, and your joy. I did cut and paste this, I swear. It's right off the end. In your joy, and you shall form an invincible host against difficulties. The same as knowing that you have taken a shot of immunization. Joy makes you unavailable to ill. Joy makes you unavailable to strife. It's not that stuff doesn't happen in your life. You just know how to navigate it with grace and ease. Freud said, where is this? This is very interesting. Where is it? Hold on one second. I'm going to skip over something. Freud says that spiritual joy is substitute for physical pleasure. People become saints out of sexual frustrations. Really? However, St. Thomas Aquinas says, no man can live without joy. That is why one deprived of spiritual joy goes over to carnal pleasures. Sanctity is never a substitute for sex, but sex can often be a substitute for sanctity. What if you could have both? What if you could be fully alive and fully orbed and enjoy the beauty and the magnificence of your body? Spiritually or sexually, and know that joy is something that keeps creating. This is not a lesson on sex. I don't mean it to be that way, but it is something we don't talk enough about. And we leave sex out of the sanctuary. Appropriately so. Okay. Alrighty then. Sorry about that. Where would you be? You wouldn't be here. Somebody did something right. We're all here because of that moment, that spark of love that happened. Joseph Campbell says, find a place inside where there's joy, and the joy will burn out the pain. See, what you have to believe is that it lives within, that it is something contained within you, and you are never without it. We don't have to go to get something. We have to be it. That's this teaching. The metaphysical teaching, metaphysics literally means beyond the physical. Let's call it beyond the obvious. And let's know, and this was part of the conversation last night, so if you are deceived by your sight, that's what you must heal. You must heal the way you see the world. You must heal the power that you give to the things that you see. You must heal the way you measure things by the way they appear. I just said that 3 different ways because I want you to get it. Joy is always available. Beauty, peace, grace, compassion, love, these are all always available. But every time you and I get focused and we seek out that experience, we seek ye first within. And then we expand into it and we breathe it alive. And then as we do that, the outside begins to transform. Are you with me? This is the most important thing that we have to offer in this teaching. That it is completely an inside job now and always. We heal the body when we heal the mind. In order to heal the mind, we must first focus, change our attention, and then focus. We must stop those annoying habits of gossip and complaining. I know you hear from me all the time, but until we really stop, we're going to feel the ill effects of it. We must cease the habits of critiquing the world, the overwhelming feeling that you have to let people know what's wrong with them. Because you know you're a metaphysician. You go to that center in West Orange. I know what's wrong with you. No, you don't. And until you have walked a mile in that person's shoes, don't you say a thing. We don't get to be right just because we know something. We get to be more loving. We get to be more compassionate, more accepting. And then when we're more accepting and more loving and more compassionate, someone will want to come into that fold. And then they'll find it within themselves. You understand me? Activating emotions such as peace, love, joy, compassion, and such create a vibration that raises you out of the doldrum. It is why I beg you to get out of your seat and move. You know, they say there's a Joe and Marcy's son-in-law. He's a doctor of some kind. I don't know, some kind of doctor. But he shared a statistic that made a lot of sense to me, especially computer people. People have to sit in front of a computer screen for a lot of the day. Where are you? Oh, really? That's all this? I'm surprised there's not more of you. Get up every 15 minutes. Set your alarm, get up every 15 minutes, even if you just walk around and then go back and sit down. It changes your entire day. I've done it. I've set my phone for every 50, annoying as hell, I got to tell you, because I'll be in the middle of a thought and the thing will go off and I'll want to argue with it. And I'll forget that I did it because I set the alarm because I knew it was good for me. Then I get up and I do it, and then sometimes I extend it to 16 or 17 minutes. You know, it's the stubborn in me. But move the body. The body wants to be moved, it wants to be honored, it wants to be loved. Move the body. Whatever you can do, move the body. We are meant to have a disciplined mind, not a morally boring mind, not a righteous mind. A disciplined mind, which means I set my sights on joy and I keep my sights set on joy. When I say disciplined, I'm not saying you're going to stop having pleasures in your life. I keep repeating the theme today. That's okay. I'm glad that joy is being associated with pleasure. That's a good thing. But we set our sight and we discipline our mind to not then let ourselves be distracted by the pain and discomfort that surrounds us. Now, we're not oblivious. We should never act oblivious. We still are compassionate to everyone around us. We always be compassionate. But for you, when you are willing to be the light, you give permission right away to the person next to you. We move out of competition and into collaboration, and we move out of thinking there's just so much joy and love and light in the world, to realizing it's infinite and it's always expanding. Anybody have more than one child? Did you stop loving the second one? Anybody have more than one grandchild? Not yet, kind of. Did you stop loving there's more love. Love expands. It will never cease expanding. And when you're willing to be so full with it, and be in that light of it, you give permission to the person sitting next to you to be that light, even if they're not paying attention. You get to carry it in the room. So we must not get sucked into the unconscious, unaware, unkind behavior and opinions of the masses. That's when we have a disciplined mind. Things are changing, but the contrary influences are still there. The brighter the light that you are in your life, the more you draw someone's attention away from their own misery. The more you are willing to shine and stand apart, the more you will distract people from a limited life and make it possible for them to touch the hem of possibility. Once they see what is possible, they will want what you have. Be willing to be happy when others are not. You get that? You have to be willing to be happy anyway. Eventually, they will rise up to your vibration. Once they see what is, be willing to love yourself enough that you invite others to love themselves. Be willing to do things differently in all places. Forgive quickly. Acknowledge all people. Be generous and crazy complimentary. Compliment everybody. Praise everyone. Praise everyone around you. Praise them. Even if it is the single most unconscious person you know, find something and praise them. Praise raises our vibration. Be willing to be brilliant and joy-filled. Be willing. And remember this word. I've come upon this word a number of times over the years, and I saw it again doing my research. You know the word abracadabra? You know it's a Hebrew word? And it means, I create what I speak. I create what I speak. Abracadabra. So I know great joy and possibility for everyone. Abracadabra. Come forth, all good. Abracadabra. I create what I speak. Let us be in joy, unfolding joy, increasing unfolding joy forever and ever. Abracadabra. Let us feel the impulse of spirit as it heals and reveals the truth in our body temple. Let us feel joy and prosperity always in our lives. Let us give from the overflow and the love that we have and that we feel always. Let all of our families and friends always feel the joy in their hearts that is their divine birthright. And so it is. So, if you will, let's take this into official treatment now. Hold the hands of someone next to you, if you will. Spiritual mind treatment is our name for affirmative prayer. We call it many things around here. We try not to get limited to the jargon, so just know with me, it's all about affirmation. So know with me right here, right now, that there is a sense of feeling, a vibration of possibility that right now is rising up through and in each one of us. There is a truth so grand it is blinding. It is the light of joy. It is the light of joy in our lives. And what I know for each and every one of us, that we each find the willingness to be that joy, to be that light, to be that love, to be the forgiveness, to be the gratitude, to be filled with grace and ease. Let us find the willingness within ourselves to accept and allow the divine birthright of that we were incarnated with. Let us experience it every single time we look in the eyes of another human, no matter who that is. Let us bring joy in every place that we go. Let us be the joy now and always. I know for each one of us that joy heals and reveals the truth within us. And as our mind focuses on joy, and as our mind focuses on the increase of joy, our body follows, our life experience follows, our prosperity follows, our love follows. Let us find this experience at every turn. Feeling it, believing it, giving way to it. I believe in you. I believe in each of you and your ability to accept and allow this truth that has been spoken. I bless you on this day, on every day, that you take from this exactly what you want, whatever that is, and express it the way you want. Let us be a light. For this truth and so much more, I am grateful beyond grateful. I surrender this word to love and to law. And if you want, you can close with me by saying, and so it is. Abracadabra.